Greetings from beyond the gravy. First up, I'm sorry for disappearing. I wasn't hiding from you. There wasn't anything personal. I simply had my head stuffed so far up my own pompous arse that I emerged out of my mouth like a snake, endlessly swallowing its own tail. So, our opening was as opaque as it was graphic. I'll start over from the top, only this time with intelligible meaning. There once was a boy, very much like this man, who lived in a land very much like this one, in a castle very much like the top floor flat of 44, Nottingham Road, E10 6EP. Now this boy was a hurting boy, I tell you. He felt pain, and again. Then one bright summer's morn, the boy was promised the emotional turn of control he'd always dreamed of by three sisters he met on the internet. The three sisters Zolam, Etty, Clona, and Flubroma. I tell you, he fell for them, for their promises, for their lies. He fell like a soldier, like Lucifer, like the Roman Empire. He tripped and he fell, much like Livy. He tripped, only blatantly stupid, not pretending to be wise. And yet these seductresses take away his pain. Hell yeah, but they also took away his brain, I tell you. He doesn't even know his name, I tell you. So far he fell, and oh, so far. He just kept falling so far up his own arse. The emerged out through his mouth, catching breath for a moment before descending again up his own backside. Over and over again, as the snake endlessly devours himself. It seemed like nothing could break his fall. But one day he woke up. He woke up from the dream and he looked around. The sisters had finally gone. They had run out. Not one of them was left. And that was the end of the three sisters Zolam. They and their kind have been forever banished from this land by the king's decree, his iron will enshrined in a new law called the Psychoactive Substances Act. And they all lived happily ever after. The end. There's a river of sex like a crack in the city. There's a river of sex like a crack in time. There's a river of sex like crack in the city, and my cock is the crack pipe, and my seed is the rock. And when the current's strong, the river shall arise, a great blue dragon always, the thorns upon its spine. The sight of Beelzebub himself leading the charge as he rides the dragon from a bed sitting late in stone into the Queen's quarters at Buckingham Palace will cause everyone to forget what they know and live happily ever after. Look inside. The dragon's thorns have become the petals of the rose. There's a river of sex like a crack in the city. There's a river of sex like a crack in time. There's a river of sex like crack in the city, and my cock is the crack pipe, and my seed is the rock. Yeah, this is a little known, but it's not written by me, it's by my spirit guide. He's a Native American by the name of Purple Sprouting Broccoli. Next time you look back rolling past the eye of an instant, baby. Baby, don't just let it go on, baby. Write it all down, my babies. Tell the world what it's like to remember yourself. Oh, the pain, the tears I cry. Pure liquid acid, suffering and joy and love and peace and anger and fame and waste and greed. And sex and faith and hope and war and pride and grief and shame. Oh, the pain inside. The pain and the patience. Every man I ever killed, I was always dying in my own hand. I cutting off my left hand and cutting off my right. Every movie I never made, I was always trying to point me to the light, to ride my jelly babies, my jolly babies, my archangels bright. And every war I ever fought on was myself I slaughtered. What bunker, not a monkey, what a waste, white horse. Your wallpaper paste. Every bill I ever paid, I could have been making love instead. Every lie I ever swallowed, I was a lion to myself. I was a lion. I was brave. I was a coward. Should have gone, should have stayed. In the factories and the mills and in the plants and in the mines and the bedroom and the kitchen in Vietnam. The pain, the love, the heart inside, the cocks I sucked, the tears I cried. All of my best poems are by Leonard Cohen. Except for that one by William Blake. They wrote them down because they've got poets' fingers, and so that I can get on with the important business of trying to forget everything that I know. That's a tricky business. It takes up most of my time. My mother is my teacher. What was I saying? All my best poems, they're by Leonard Cohen. He wrote them down because he has a poet's fingers. Sadly, for the poet, he forgot to give them back. You know, I detest artifice. But how can I know if I'm giving you the real deal when I have realized that I myself am an illusion? The trick of the light, all done with mirrors. I think this is what's called overthinking it. American Standard Code for Information Interchange. Dotted, daisy-like, amidst the morass of digital data, emergent patterns fend for my attention. The deficit, this hyperspace activity, my disorder, and behind the veil, beings and nothingness, in massive array, meaningless both form and void. Yet darkness was upon the face of the deep, until the spirit of the browser moved upon the face of the waters. And the American Standard Code for Information Interchange said, "Let there be letters, and there were words, and for a while the word was good." Until the joint photographics expert group said, "Let there be red, green, and blue," and there were pictures, and boy, it sure was good. And thus it was. A friend, long lost, last seen in 1982, in detention, located in Arkansas, materialized in person from that binary matrix we now call home. He was subjected to my music and my ex and my first course in insanity. Now, a new pattern emerges that catches my attention. His girlfriend perhaps possesses a frivolous fetish for facial hair, on film stars, on her boyfriend, on a bear. 3 smiling girls, all wearing mustaches. They are in America. I know everything. I see everything. I am everyone. I am everywhere. The secret poetry of the cosmic joke, it's this: if it's not on Facebook, then it does not exist. Have you ever tried to watch TV on acid? Well, I tried to watch TV on acid, but the TV just watched me. And the TV was on acid, and I was on TV. Technotopia, a prophecy. In our as yet unfathomed, far-flown future place, the best of our buffins shall advise us of the most fantastical and fancy device they've devised yet. You betcha! You won't be able to live without it. You'll wonder how you ever lived without it. It'll take your life and give you something better. You too can do everything you'll never ever do without doing anything at all. You too can dream everything you never ever dreamed of not doing without killing a single sheep. Haven't you ever wanted to be everywhere at once without having to go anywhere at all? Saving the world from the comfort of your armchair, it's never been so easy. Facing dangers untold, you remain in the same safe place you love at a price you can't afford. If you don't rush out and buy the latest model of this marvelous machine, you're missing out. You'll be searching for your soul down the back of the sofa and bleaching your bum crack with antifreeze inside of vinegar over and over and over and over. Meanwhile, I'll beat the biggest, baddest boss and become the master of it all. A price I can't afford not to pay. It's a price you can't afford not to pay. I will call it a console. For it will console our broken hearts by letting us make play at being all the interesting things we're not. And you'll score every day, if you know what I mean. Guaranteed. I promise you, you'll be reborn. You'll be spawned over and over and over again. You'll continue on and on and on and on. And you'll rise to ever higher planes of being, each level revealing something bigger and more better than the last. It's a blast. You'll have so many extra lives, all lived without pain. You'll never miss the one you paid with. I will never give you cause to pause to miss the life you had before. A price we all can afford.